Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. Okay, reason for this video today is I saw an ad on Bring a Trailer for an E36 M3 last week, and it kind of piqued my interest. Not necessarily because I wanted to buy it or anything, but as you know, I'm really big on market values and valuations on the cars that I own. And as I've told you in so many videos in the past, you want to buy low and sell high if you ever have to sell. Now, obviously, you don't want to sell if you don't have to, and I don't plan on selling into my cars, but I'm always trying to push the point that you want to buy cars that have completely depreciated in value and get them at the bottom of the market before they rise. And some of the cars I've tried to, talk about, the Porsche 928, the E46, the E36, some of those windows have kind of come and gone. Some are still there, but there was a particular car on Bring a Trailer recently that I saw, and I kind of just wanted to talk about it and walk through it with you guys, and then compare it to my car and the process of me picking the car that I bought, my red E36 M3 4-door, and just compare the two cars and kind of see where the market is. Did I buy at the right time? Did I get a good deal? Was this deal on the Bring a Trailer car a good deal or not? So let's just kind of talk through it and kind of see where everything falls. So on the left side here, this is the Bring a Trailer car. This is I'm trying to compare apples to apples as much as possible here. And obviously nothing is exact. It's not an exact science. I'm not saying it is. But the cars are fairly comparable. So, the car on Bring a Trailer has, some things going for it that mine don't. Mine, I think, may have a couple things, but overall, they're pretty close. So, the one that sold last week on Bring a Trailer was a '97 E36 M3 4-door, same year as mine. It's 4-door. Now, the main difference between the two cars, obviously, other than the color, the one on Bring a Trailer is Astoria Blue. Mine's Hellrot Red. Is mileage. The Bring a Trailer car is 29,000 miles, and I've got 56,000 miles on mine. So it's got a little bit less than half the mileage that mine does. Now, probably the main difference between the two cars is the one that sold on Bring a Trailer was originally an automatic from the factory. Okay, so mine's a factory 5-speed. The one on Bring a Trailer was converted to a 6-speed manual from a Z4M. So it's been cannibalized a little bit. And then there are a few other upgrades on the Bring a Trailer car. It's got some suspension upgrades to it. It's got I think a Dynan suspension upgrade. It's got Coney shocks and stuff. But I've got that too. I've got the exact same stuff. I've got Stop Tech brakes and rotors. So I've got some upgrades as well. And as you know, the E36s, the M3s, the suspension, the bushings aren't really great in them. So they kind of tend to go to pot after like 30, 40,000 miles sometimes. So if you're ever in a position where you need to replace it, it's kind of dumb to just replace it with stock components again, because they weren't that great to begin with, and it probably costs you less money to replace it with an aftermarket setup. So that's really not that unusual on these cars to see that. So, okay, so why am I comparing these two cars? Well, what shocked me about the Astoria Blue car was it sold for $36,000 last week. Right here, $36,250. And that's before the Bring a Trailer fee, which is, I think, 5%, up to $5,000. So 5% on 36 is like another almost a couple of $1,000. So now you're really talking $38,000 out the door for a 29,000 mile E36 M3 4-door 6-speed conversion. Okay, so how does that compare to my car? Well, I bought mine last March. If you watched the video, you saw me fly down to Jacksonville and buy it, and then I drove it back. Again, my car had 56,000 miles. But the condition between these two cars, I've looked through the photos. There's a couple of videos online here in the Bring a Trailer auction that they posted. And the condition is pretty much identical between the two cars. There's really not a whole lot of difference going on. Now, the one major difference on the interior is the Bring a Trailer car has the sort of ivory colored interior, and I have black interior. And obviously, hell rot's really not that common for the 4-doors. You see it more on the 2-doors. I think there is only about maybe 400 or 500 total red 4-doors built. But granted, I fully realize that Astoria Blue is even more uncommon than the red. So you have to inflate that a bit in terms of weighing what the price would be. You're going to pay a little bit more for a car that's in an unusual color. Just like if it was in Dakar yellow, you're going to pay a bit more. It's like my E36 M3. If it's Phoenix yellow, it's just supply and demand. You're going to pay more. So I totally understand that, and I'm not discounting that at all. And the interior, you might pay a little more for ivory, but I'm not sure the ivory versus black is really going to make a whole lot of difference. So getting back to the comparisons between the two cars, when I bought mine last March and flew down to Jacksonville to get it, I paid $19,000 out the door. Okay, and that's with 56,000 miles, but pretty much everything else, for the most part, being equal. I mean, the color is a little, okay, so maybe add 5%, 10% to that, but you're only talking another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 at the most if you wanted blue. So, and the other thing with the mileage too is, mine's really low mileage for 56,000 miles. Most of these cars, these M3s, they were bought as daily drivers. People put all kinds of mileage on them. They've got 120, 140, 160,000 miles. That's not unusual. And so what happened too is when the original owners decided to sell these cars, the people who were buying them as used cars, as secondhand cars, they were much cheaper. You could pick them up for $10,000, $12,000. You're getting a younger crowd buying them. They don't necessarily have as much money, or they're not as diligent in keeping up with the car maintenance, and so they let a lot of that stuff go. And then these cars just start getting really roached out, and the number of good ones out there, it's a supply that's getting smaller and smaller. So a 56,000 mile car is really low mileage for an E36 M3 4-door. Now, 29,000 is really, really low mileage. There's not that many floating around. But the point I'm getting at is we're basically juggling low mileage and really low mileage. It's not really the difference between high mileage and low mileage. It's not the difference between being a 6-figure mileage and a 5-figure mileage. Like if my car had 112,000 and the blue car had 88,000, even though the mileage isn't that different, the psychological difference between the two of being under 100,000 miles does elevate the price quite a bit. You want to stay under 6 digits if you absolutely can, because that's going to hurt you. So yes, my car has a little bit less than half the mile or twice the mileage of it, but it's still really low mileage. So we're really just comparing what degree of low mileage you consider to be low and then extremely low. And then it comes down to, okay, how much of a premium do you want to pay for that additional low mileage? So a good comparison is on the E46 that I have. It's got 18,000 miles, which would be in the stupid low mileage category. But when I bought it, I think at least, I got a really good deal on it. And because it is SMG, the price was kept down a bit. And I could get that car, even with the low mileage, when I bought it, because I think I bought it at the right time, and not have to pay a huge premium for that low mileage. So when we compared these two cars, my car and the blue car that sold on Bring a Trailer, you have to take into consideration the mileage, but was the mileage between 56,000 miles, which I have, and 29,000 miles, which the blue car has, was that worth an extra $18,000 to $20,000 in premium? I don't think so. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, if it was a 60, 70,000 mile difference, maybe, but we're still talking between low mileage and stupid low mileage. And so to pay that much money for really another 25,000 miles on the odometer, fewer miles on the odometer, I would not pay that. I certainly would not pay that. I mean, I would pay a premium for 29,000 miles compared to 56, but I wouldn't pay double the price of the car. And that's pretty much what's going on here. Now, I'm not making any judgments about, who bought this car, if they got a good deal. I mean, it's whatever you're willing to pay. So I'm sure the person who got this car is really happy with it. And I'm not, I'm not saying anything otherwise with that. I'm just saying when I compare it to what I bought and how I'm trying to just educate you guys and encourage you guys to buy cars at the absolute lowest price they are when they fully depreciated, get in right then, and then once the prices rise, you're set. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about anything. So it's interesting when I look at this car that I think, okay, did I get in at the right time? And I think I did. I'm hoping I did. I mean, 36,000. I didn't think I was going to see an E36 4-door go for that much money this quickly after I bought mine. And it's only been a year. I bought mine last March. It's April now, so 13 months. And if somebody offered me 36,000 for mine, the smart move would be, hell yeah, take it and get out and buy something else. I mean, but I don't need the money, so I'm not going to sell it. And I don't think prices are going to go down anytime soon. So there's no real reason for me to sell it. But it was interesting that this car went for that much money. And if it's me and I'm comparing the two cars and I'm in the market for a car and say mine was for sale right now and it was for the same price I paid for it last year at 19 and this car was for sale at 36, other than the color difference and other than 25,000 miles, would you have paid another 18 to 20 grand for the blue car? That could be a tough sell. That could be a tough sell. Now for me, it's the good news because I got in at 19. So I'm feeling really good right now. Now, one caveat I need to throw out, and well, it's kind of a big caveat, is this is just one car. It's one example. It's one comparison. So, by no means does this represent the entire market in any way whatsoever. And I'm not saying that it is. But it's not that common where you can kind of compare cars that are sort of apples and apples. Usually you see the cars that come up for sale, they may have 130,000 miles. They may be a two-door. It may be an automatic. It may not be in a desirable color combination. So it really gets hard to try to make quality comparisons. So if you've got an E36, and it's got 100,000 miles, just watch the market. Go on Auto Trader, go on cars.com, Bring a Trailer, eBay, and just keep your eye out for cars that are in your same mileage, in your same condition, and see what the market is telling you. See if the prices are going up, see if they're steady, see if they're coming down. As far as the E36 market, I haven't seen prices come down at all. I think if they're steady at worst, and I think they're going up. Now, I don't think this car is representative of the entire market and it's going up that fast. I think you have to have a really good car. You have to have a good color combination. It's got to be in really good condition. So it's got to have a number of things going for it. Like my red Cayman S, as good as that car is, as great a condition as that car is, they built a lot of Cayman S's. And they built a lot of them in Guards Red. So that car just does not have the same strength in the market as some of the other ones I have. So I fully understand that. I didn't buy it with any, intentions of thinking that I bought a car that was going to be more special than it is. So, you just have to take that into consideration. But keep an eye out for, E36s. I told you when I bought mine, I really think they're good cars at a low price right now. I don't know how much longer that's going to last though. When I did the M6 video, those cars were, you could pick one of those up, a good one. Now, a good one, 75,000 miles. You could pick a good one up for $26,000 to $30,000. Really good one. Now, I'm seeing those cars granted, that's advertised price. It's not sell price, but I've seen those being advertised for 60 now, even in the 70s. And these are cars with 90, 100,000 miles on them. These are not garage queen cherries with 20,000 miles. So it's, if you're shopping for an M6, you're too late now. And in fact, I probably posted that video 6 months too late. But the M6s have passed. The E46s, I think you can still get in at a decent price because they've built so many of those cars. There is a lot of them out there. So if you want silver, if you want, even if you want, the 6-speed, there are plenty of them out there. Just try to find the nicest one that you can afford. And if you want to keep a car long term and you're not interested in flipping the car, it's kind of you're gonna be married to the car for years down the road. Try to buy a car with as low mileage as you can. You definitely want to stay under 100,000 miles if you want something that's going to be, I hate quasi-collectible, I guess you could say. It's hard to be collectible when you got 130,000 miles on the car just because there are so many other cars on the market that if you had to sell yours, you're competing against. But if you've got a low mileage car and you put your car for sale, there's just a few out there. If somebody doesn't want yours, it's not like they can just go down the street and buy the same car with the same mileage. So you've got more leverage there. So condition and mileage are always going to be the things that drive your market and what you want to buy and what you can spend, but you want to spend as much as you can and buy the nicest car with the lowest mileage that you can. And sometimes, depending on your budget, you can get a 40,000 mile car, and other times your budget just doesn't allow for it. And you have to buy an $80,000 or $90,000 car, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just, everybody's got their own budget, their own lifestyle. You've got other things going on with your life. You may have kids, you may have, college tuition, whatever it is. You have to make compromises everywhere, and I get that. So I'm not making any judgments. So that's really all I wanted to say about this right now. We'll keep an eye on the market. Bring a Trailer is a good place to look because they get a lot of M3s. But like I said in the other video, the one thing I'm not real keen on with Bring a Trailer is they're getting 5% commission on every sale. It's not really the seller that's paying a whole lot. I think they pay like $200 or $250 to post their car online with Bring a Trailer, but it's the buyer that's getting taken. You're going to pay, on this car on this E36, the blue one, you're going to have to spend another $2,000 to get out, to get out the door. And really, what did that $2,000 buy the buyer here? Not that much. Really not anything. How much did it really cost to take somebody's photos, take their YouTube video, and basically post the ad for them? You write a couple paragraphs, you post the photos that you didn't even take. The cost of the website, the cost of a web page is literally pennies, $10, $20, and you're making $2,000 on it. Now, I'm a capitalist. I totally understand it. It's a free market. If you want to agree to do that and you're okay paying, as the buyer that premium, then far be it from me to stop you. What I'm saying though is you may not get as good a deal on Bring a Trailer as you think you will. And if you can find a similar car where you don't have to pay those fees somewhere else, you're going to be a lot better off. Like on eBay, when I bought the E46 and the E36 were both off of eBay. So as the buyer, I paid no premium. It was whatever the price of the car was, that's what I paid. It was the seller that had to deal with it. It was the seller that made the decision to post it there. So if it's the seller that's driving this, I don't really see why the buyer is the one that has to fork over the dough for it. So I think the fees on eBay are pretty low, a couple $100 maybe to post your car. And that's it, regardless, I think, how much the car costs. So anyways, just an interesting comparison here. Finally, the weather is starting to break. Hopefully, we do still have a little bit of snow on the ground. So it's been a long winter and a long spring to start here. So hopefully I can get the cars out here in the not too distant future. So if I see any other, interesting cars that are for sale online that have an interesting price to them that we can do some comparisons with, I'll bring them to your attention. And by the way, if you've got other cars that you guys are looking at that you're interested in that we haven't talked about on this channel, maybe it's an Audi or Mercedes or whatever the case may be. If you're interested in kind of walking through and doing some market evaluations and comparisons, maybe it's a car you already own and you kind of want to know where it stands and where the market's going, or you're thinking about buying a car. A few months ago, I was kind of in the market for an Audi RS4. I've kind of backed off on that. Not because it's not a good time to buy or anything. I don't have the money for it. But that's one I've thought about doing. So any suggestions or ideas out there for other cars you want to look at, just let me know. So that's that. If you like this video, like it. Didn't like it, don't like it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe today so you never miss an episode. Take care.